Marathon isn't for everybody. Hello everyone, and oh boy, do I have a video in store for you today. In today's video, we've got a ton of Marathon things to cover, including the maps at launch, with one map launching during Season 1 that's going to be so difficult, it'll only have a 20% survivability rate. We also have Bungie addressing the price point of $40 and why the game won't be free to play, as well as Bungie stating why Marathon won't be Destiny 3. It's funny because the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning was the Marathon trailer was gone. Like the official trailer from the official YouTube account got taken down due to copyright. I really do hope someone looks at YouTube's copyright system one day because it is an absolute abomination. In other news, we also have the minimum specs for the alpha build of Marathon, which may surprise you, as well as one of the lead developers addressing concerns about the art style. The biggest news about all of this is of course the headline of today: Marathon is not for everybody. That is exactly what Bungie said. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's get into it. So first up today, we have Bungie's developers talking about Marathon, and there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to put some Halo gameplay underneath of me destroying people, as we've all seen the trailer gameplay of Marathon 100 times already. Wouldn't want to get copyright striked either, right YouTube? Haha. Anyway, Bungie's game director said, and I quote, "We don't expect Marathon to become Destiny 3. Our goal is not to basically make a new product that replaces Destiny 2. We believe that Destiny 2 has a future, and the team working on it has been working really hard to understand what players' needs are." Speaking of Destiny 2, a new expansion was announced yesterday, and the community developer DMG, he said Marathon is starting, Destiny is continuing. It's no secret that Destiny 2 players are more leaning towards PvE than PvP. I've actually secretly been watching a lot of Destiny 2 PvP content creators for years, and I just have to say, the PvP in Destiny 2, it is a mess. If you were to ask me, Remy, what is your favorite Destiny multiplayer? It's literally Destiny 1 when it first came out over 10 years ago. Feel old yet? Anyway, Bungie doesn't want Marathon to be close to Destiny as they want completely separate audiences. They don't want one game to cannibalize the other, as they want completely different player bases to generate multiple income sources at the same time. It honestly might be the reason why there's no fully fledged campaign plan for Marathon. They want to keep the storytelling PvE aspects to Destiny. The Bungie developer went on to say, "I think if you are looking for PvE experiences, definitely Marathon is not the game for you. We are very comfortable saying, and here comes the line, yeah, this isn't a game for everybody. This is a game for, if you like PvP experiences, especially in sandbox spaces, then this is probably something you're gonna enjoy." That's from the game director Joe Ziegler. Ziegler? I'm sorry if I got that wrong. In terms of sandbox, that's where I really think Marathon will really attract Halo players and Destiny PvP players. But if you're a PvE enjoyer, you are going to be disappointed. The problem with all of that is that Marathon has a rich history of campaigns, a diverse storyline featuring multiple factions spanning across an entire trilogy of developed lore. I understand saying, yeah, this isn't a game for everybody. No game should be catered to everyone, as then it'll appeal to nobody. You've chosen a franchise with such a strong backstory of information already, and that is something people are very curious about. They're going to be really disappointed if that isn't shown. That's why to me, it feels like a very deliberate decision to not include a campaign or a stronger narrative tie-in. We will see when we actually get to play the game how strong the narrative is going to be. We can't comment on it yet because it hasn't been written. I read many comments from you guys that said, and I quote, "Marathon is a game in name only." They're using that familiarity to give a springboard to get initial interest to get players into the game. From a marketing standpoint, you guys very well might be right. The big thing for me is that since Marathon has such a diverse history filled with so many different stories to tell, players would love a chance to be able to explore the maps outside of a PvP environment, to find secrets and learn what's hidden without having players or PvE enemies interrupting to kill you. Now, Bungie actually answered that too. They said, and I quote, "There are no plans for a dedicated PvE mode in Marathon at launch. There's none. We're not doing that right now. Right now, we're just kind of spending all the time we have on the baseline experience. We actually have a lot of activities and points of interest and stuff that are very much PvE challenges. And so even though we're not doing bespoke modes, so even outside of PvE specific modes, but other game modes as well, they're not doing them either. We are investing a lot of time into making sure we have a rich PvE challenge as well as the PvP." This was said by Marathon's gameplay director, Andrew Witz. I would strongly urge Bungie to reconsider this, but again, after seeing they don't want Destiny and Marathon audiences to crisscross too much and have overlap, it seems highly unlikely this will happen. Now, while we are on the topic of how the game is being received, this brought up so many questions in relation to the art style and the price point. Bungie addressed both of those today. As a very quick side note, we have literally had 3,000 comments in the last 3 videos of you guys giving feedback on Marathon. I've summed up everything players have asked for into yesterday's video, and I did it in a constructive way. Players have been using that video as a starting point to give feedback directly to Bungie. I'll put it at the end screen at the end of this video. If you're interested, check it out. So Bungie was asked about the art style. This has been a pressing issue as all of the pre-release art material looks amazing. The first pre-release teaser looks awesome. The 8-minute movie showing the runners on Tau Ceti 4, beautiful. The in-game version of this art style at this current point in time doesn't fully live up to the art that people were hoping to see in game. Many of you commented that this was a deliberate decision, but I always felt as though with this game being in a pre-alpha or alpha state, that the game may change a lot visually between now and launch. In saying that, Marathon's art director on Instagram actually called the game pre-alpha, and in response to the game looking flat and dull, he said, "We're definitely working on a lot of things, trying to make it as compelling as possible." It's always hard to compare to these sultry blender renders though. Sultry basically means it's hard to compare in-game to how these incredibly colorful, vibrant renders look, but it does seem as though Bungie will definitely be doing another art pass on the game between now and launch. It'd be surprising if they didn't, as most people have voiced their opinion as yes, they do love the art style, but they just want the in-game version to look closer to the art they've seen. Moving on from that, we have the price point, $40 at launch for 3 maps, 1 game mode, and 6 characters, while being full of microtransactions, a battle pass, and it had some people scratching their heads as to why it's been given the price it has. Speaking of maps, a 4th map will be launching during Season 1, and it'll be the hardest of the 4 maps as Bungie expects only 20% of players will survive. From everything I've read about this 4th map, Bungie wants raid-like mechanics and high levels of teamwork required for this particular map. Again, some people feel as though a PvE only version of this would be very popular, but since Bungie doesn't want Destiny and Marathon audiences to cross, this seems highly unlikely. Back to the price point, $40 was considered steep as players felt there was many free-to-play titles that offer you far more content, especially on launch. Bungie responded to this and said, "We're hoping that what we're showing is exciting enough that someone is going to take the leap with us, but we are also committed to delivering on seasons past this that will continuously offer to evolve the game without an increase to the box price." Many of you guys commented that the $40 price point will make the chance of running into a cheater and cheaters coming into the game far less common, as they're going to have to pay to gain access. That is true, but it still does leave the concerns that the game itself isn't worth $40. Bungie continued on to say, "What we're hoping everyone understands about the game is that we're focused on committing to making this a game that's really awesome, and we feel like that starting point is really strong at this current time. Everyone's got their own definition of what the right price is, and as we deliver that information, we're hoping we hit the right price that makes you feel it's worth your value." What I'm simply going to ask you guys watching this video is, what do you, the viewer, think is a fair price for Marathon? The game will remain at $40 indefinitely even after content additions, but I feel as though this is something that may become a big sticking point in future if they go back on their word about this. I just have this gut feeling, I don't know why, maybe I've been burnt too many times now, but please don't say it's going to be $40 indefinitely and then, oh wait, now it's 50, oh wait, now it's 60. We know what executives think, so I'm just going to keep that in the back of my head. While we are on that topic about developers and development, another post stated that Marathon has been in development for over 4 years, with around 300 developers working on the project right now. That was according to the game director, Joe Ziegler, but I swear Dr. Lupo said he's been testing it for at least 6. In saying that, 300 developers, 4 years, each of them earning $150,000 USD a year, which is the average game developer wage. Factor in that it may not have always been 300 developers as they ramp up development. That is over $100 million sunk into Marathon. I will say that's a quarter of what was sunk into Concord, which is just ludicrous, but video games really do be expensive to make. The last thing we need to talk about today is the alpha, Marathon's new alpha build, and the minimum specs required to run the game. Frankly, I'm impressed. So often games are full of bloat, requiring ridiculous specs to run as they're so unoptimized. I'll put the specs up on screen now and you can see them for yourself. The key thing here is that the GPU, it only requires a 1050 4GB GPU as a minimum to run the game. That is fantastic, and it greatly lowers the barrier for entry for many players who don't have amazing PCs. If you want to have as many people as possible to try out your game, keeping it as well optimized as possible is definitely the way to go. Finally today, and I wanted to end on something funny, the first trailer for Marathon on the official Marathon YouTube has been taken down. Why, you might ask? Well, WMG, Warner Music Group, copyright struck down the trailer for copyrighted music. Please, someone at YouTube, look into the broken copyright system on your website. It has been happening for years. It is horrible. horrible, it needs to be fixed. And that's it. That's everything Marathon related you need to know. As more information comes out, I'll cover it, but today, my main question for you guys is this. Marathon is not designed for everybody. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm going to go try the new RuneScape game. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.